got the link to the actual menu on our site as well.
That's
Our park does too.
Okay,
So,
okay. Call the JPNL committee meeting to order at 6:04. So the first thing that we have on our agenda for tonight is the Amder Art Festival special event permit. So I don't know, Sarah, if you have anything to kick it off with?
I will just give a 2-second brief introduction and I will turn it over to Lindsay and Amy from Amdor. So they approached us in 2018 about possibly doing a 2-day art festival in Shorewood. And at that time we were working on our special events policy / ordinance, and we're hoping to kind of have that in place before this came before you. That is not in place at this time. So they have chosen, with us not having that in place, to proceed for 2020 with a special event application in what's before you. So I will turn it over to them for kind of their presentations and questions. So if you want to introduce yourself.
Would you mind just if we could go around and just
Yep,
say names,
absolutely.
it would be super helpful. So I can start. I'm Amy Amder. I'm Lindsay Dickinson.
I'm Hannah Amder.
Kevin Niggard.
Sangeeta Patel.
John O'Hara.
I'm David Armenta.
Mike Marr on the village board.
I'm Jessica Garber, also in Goldsburg.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, well, thanks for your time tonight. And so what I thought, I know we have limited time, so I thought I would do a quick overview of the package that we presented. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it or not. And so I'm gonna just talk about a little bit about Amder, so you know who we are, and a little bit about the event. Lindsay's gonna give you a little bit more on timeline, so we can kind of talk about the flow of it, and then just open things up to questions. Does that sound okay? All right, so, anyway, Amder Productions is a company that I started 37 years ago. I hadn't been out of college too long when I did it. I started it, and we started our first art festival in Highland Park, Illinois. And the reason I started it is I was involved with the redevelopment of downtown Highland Park. And it was in the 80s, and it was a time when it was a hard time. Different than now. Now our challenge is Amazon, right? But back then, the big malls were hurting the downtowns. So I said at a meeting, when we were about 6 months out from opening the new downtown, are we gonna do grand opening? And people said, well, you do it. So I created a summer's worth of events, and one of them was an art festival with 40 artists, and that was 37 years ago, and that is now known as the Port Clinton Art Festival, because that's the name of that downtown project. The reason for doing these events was to get people to come back to the downtown. Very similar to now, when we work with cities and municipalities, creating events in the downtowns to get people feet to the street. And while at the same time giving people a cultural experience. So we have run hundreds of festivals over the 37 years, from small little festivals to big festivals. Small ones might be in Illinois at a place like Deer Park Town Center, where we have maybe 50 artists, to big events like the Gold Coast Art Fair in Chicago, which has over 300, and everything in between. The shows we run are juried art festivals, and what that means is artists have to apply with 4 images of their art and one of their booth, or what the presentation would look like. We then have a group of art professionals score the art, and it's done remotely on laptops or desktops, and then we invite in those people who get the highest scores. And so that's unique to something called a juried art show. And then we create operational plans and communication plans with the artists to help coordinate a really smooth, easy load-in. We do the marketing, we do the infrastructure, everything from portalets to barricades. We work with the police and fire departments locally to make sure that our events are safe, and that's become an even bigger issue. the past 5 years, in the past 2 years, than ever before. Used to be you'd run an event and you would just worry to make sure there was room for a fire truck to come down the middle of the street, and now things are very different. So we're really take that very seriously, because we say we wanna have good headlines out of our events. We see art festivals as family friendly and ADA accessible. So we really strive to make sure that we have handicap portalettes, that we have activities for all kinds of age groups, from little ones to, up through grade school and high school. Some of our festivals have youth art divisions where kids who are taking art class or who are passionate about art, they and their families can decide to have a booth at a show. So we don't have that in the first year plan here, but if this festival, hopefully would, as it matures, that's something that we could add. To look specifically here at Shorewood, you may know that we've been running the Third Ward Art Festival for a number of years. How many years now?
7 or 8.
7 or 8 years. And have had the ability to grow that festival over time as far as quality and diversity of the art is concerned. Free festivals, no admission fee. We don't take a cut of the artist sales, just for transparency. The way they work is artists pay a certain amount to be in the show. That's our operating capital. That's what we use to self-fund the show and to do everything that all the ads and all the PR and all the marketing. We feel like marketing is a really important part of a festival, because if people don't know about it, they don't come. So the marketing is a way of getting the messages out. In the package that you have in front of you, in the overview, it talks a little bit about the festival, and we see the Shorewood Art Show as a festival that has local, regional, and national artists. We're happy to have you all here, representing local artists. It's really important that a show reflect the community that it's in, so, we would be very happy to have local artists either showing their work individually, or sometimes we've worked with art guilds where there's a combined tent. So instead of someone having to, have the responsibility of an entire 10 by 10 foot tent, it may be that there are different pieces of work from many of the members of the guild. We also, at the show, other components of the show could include food booths. We've talked with Jean and Nat, and we would be more than happy to give them free space directly in front of their businesses where they could have a table or a tent and sell their food and beverages there in the street. Also, there would be some sponsor booths at the show, and that's also another way we fund the show. We work with both paid and trade sponsorships. Paid would be like a business coming in, let's just say, for example, a law firm might want to sponsor a show to get their name out there, to have a booth at the show. Or let's say it could be a trade experience like Shepherd Express. They want to trade advertising for a booth at the show. So those are the two kinds of sponsor booths that might be present. Youth art activities I mentioned, and that could be having a hands-on art tent where we would construct an art project for people to participate in. Something we've done lately are these big graffiti walls, we use blackboard paint, and we have big chalk, and everybody can express themselves. We like to have coloring projects for the little kids. We make the project reflect the community. So here, I know there was the Monarch project through the parks, so maybe it's all about the monarch butterflies, or maybe it's something representing, Shorewood's history. So we would customize it. So we really, on the next page, page 3, we do everything from creating master timeline, that's like Lindsay's expertise, to doing the call for artists. We have about 14,000 artist names on our mailing list. These are people who want information about shows. We create a layout. In fact, we already have a layout. Let me just give you a quick overview of that, because it's pretty important. I think you have it in your package. I have a below up here that I can refer to. And, we're looking at one block for the show, and it would be on Oakland, just from, East Lake Bluff, to Kensington, just this one block. The green squares are indicating artist booths, and the openings show openings to the stores. So it's not like a wall of artist booths that you can't see through. There would be 2 booths of break, 2 booths of break, and we would lay this out on the street so that all the stores have visibility, so that when people are coming and walking at the show, they can see. And even, you know, like Draft and Vessel, we have the parklet here indicated, because looking at a June, at a summertime event, we're in August, at an August event.
What weekend may I ask you, sorry to interrupt?
The week- Go ahead.
August 8th and 9th is what we are.
That's a major conflict with another show here in Milwaukee.
Okay. Which show is that? I didn't-
Morning Glory.
Oh.
Morning Glory after, yeah.
That's
Okay.
a major show, that's like.
Yeah, I know about that one. Yeah, so thanks for pointing that out to us.
Each of those green squares then for the vendors that's a 10 by 10?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, so this.
just looking at the scale, making sure I understand
Yeah,
the
that's right.
measurements.
So the street is over 900 feet long.
Mm.
And, so it's a really big layout, and so so we're looking at about 70 to 100 booths. This shows a stage, but it's a small stage, it's just actually like a tent with a platform, it's not a big hydraulic stage. Music, we find adds a nice touch, and it's a good place for people to go sit and rest. Some back of house here, in talking with the fire department, we've already had some communication with them. They're concerned about having access to the street, but also for life safety, having a block so if someone couldn't do something destructive while the crowds are out on the street. So we have some back of house here with restrooms and a dumpster. So that's a quick overview of the festival layout. And then, I'll leave this here. And then as far as a detour map, and you also have this in your package, you know, when we close a street, we also have to consider, well, how are people going to get around? So this map in your package shows that people who are going northbound could detour over here on Kramer or on Bartlett. We also have alleys, which is great because it gives a lot of people access to the backs of their apartment buildings and
Yeah, that alley in between Kramer and Oakland actually exits back out onto Oakland, doesn't go all the way through. What, am I
Then
am I
goes
the
up
wrong?
to
does.
the
It
liquor
goes up-
store.
Oh, I'm on
It
the
goes up
wrong
to the
block.
liquor
Yeah,
I'm
the
going
liquor
from
store is
Kensington to
right here.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm on the
Yeah,
wrong block.
I think so, because I've driven it a few
I'm
times.
on the wrong block, sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you were Kensington, north of Kensington.
yeah, so, right, because in this particular block, I think it goes, I mean, I've driven it, so it looks like it went through. So there's a basic detour plan, and what we do for life safety is we put up type 3 barricades here, and I believe Lindsay has a picture of those, that in your package. Those are the orange and white barricades that have flashers on them. They look like
Page
that.
5.
And we put road closed signs up on them, and we also, would then detour traffic to those detour signs. So that's a quick overview of the,
So what do on Saturday, the businesses on Oakland, like the salons, and how do they, their customer parking is on side streets, or is that what it's?
Outside the festival footprint, any pre-existing parking will still be in existence, and that big public lot, over there, that will still be accessible for the businesses, customers. What we do strategically is park all of the artists, away from the festival, and so that the close surrounding parking's left for the public.
Okay.
so we've talked to, the school, Lake Bluff, and, we've had initial conversations with them. They don't, take applications until May for summer, but we have a conversation started with them, to use that. And that would be ideal, to have the artists park there. And when the artists come in, we have a hang tag that we give the artists, and they put it on their dashboard or on their rearview mirror, so we can identify who's who, and, we'll push
It
that up.
looks like this, it's on page 6. Just a little green parking hang tag.
Just to finish the overview, so, we're kind of visual people. This gives you an idea of what the graffiti walls look like that we've done. We find not only do kids like those, but actually everybody likes those. And here you can see, I like this because it shows the kids in the wagon, very hands-on. When we have a youth division, we give them certificates and ribbons. This is a picture of our youth art tent where the kids do spin art. We find that to be really a nice project for kids. And on the other board over here, these are from different shows we've done. Yeah. So it gives you a sense of the tents are basically white. You see all kinds of people at the shows, and the art is a variety of art. So it's an all media show, so that means jewelry, photography, flat art, 2D art, which are paintings and, all the flat art, jewelry, and then 3D art. So 3D art could be everything from wearables, like hand-painted silk scarves, to furniture, handmade furniture, and we see the breadth of it. And we like doing ribbons and giving awards at shows, because it really reinforces the art part of the event. And we are concerned about having, art and quality, at the show, so that when the public comes, they can have a variety of art to look at.